Don't you just love the way life has its little magical way of working stuff out behind the scenes? Like, you don't even have to. That's the biggest lesson I have this week, this moment. We think we have to fix everything. We think we have to figure it out. We need to solve the problems. We need to have the answers, the who, what, when, where. We don't. You show up and life happens. I have a dear friend, and we've known each other since, well, I've known her, I was 17 when I met her first. A long, long time ago. She was probably only 15 or 16, I don't know. But we were in school together. And I always knew, even from that age, that myself and herself had this soul connection. But we didn't pal together in school. You know, we had separate friends and things like that. But we always recognized each other and said hello to each other and complimented each other. I think there was a connection there from day one. Well, years later we reconnected, and we're to a point where we'd actually meet up and hang out and stuff. But recently I tried to contact her. There was no response. I was texting her saying, "Do you want to meet up? What's going on?" No response. Um, and she actually, it turns out she was doing the same with me. So we both were missing each other, um, emotionally, but also physically, in that we were sending messages to each other that weren't being received by the other person. So we both were confused as to why, there was this big gap in our time together. And I was really missing the friendship, and missing her company. And it turns out she was missing me as well. But it's funny, we really do see the world through the lens of our perspective, because I was projecting stuff going, oh God, I wonder, maybe she doesn't want to hang out anymore. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I said something or something. I just couldn't figure it out, because we never had any bad blood. Like, things were always very good between us. But when I really tuned into my intuition, I just could feel that she was super busy, really way busier than she was previously. So on a really deep, truthful level, the truth was, I knew that she was just like mindlessly busy, like working, Monday to Sunday kind of thing. But still, that little negative, ego voice was there going, maybe she doesn't want to see you anymore. Or, this like childish, um, just the little naysayer that we all have in the back of our minds that can make us feel like we're not enough, or just can feed into any programs of rejection. Okay, so she texted me recently, and I was like, "Are you home? I'll come over." We met up. We had our tea. We had our catch up. It was lovely. She lit the fire. It was really nice. And I thought to myself, yeah, the older I get, the more I realize that, we think we have to figure everything out, and that like life isn't going to happen. It's not going to flow. It's not going to move unless we have the answer, unless we know exactly what we're doing at every single moment. And it's just not real. I mean, you can't, that's not the way life is designed. Life is designed to be it is a spiritual, mysterious process. And, if I had a really jump to conclusions and just wrote my friend off and said, oh, well, I'm not going to, if my ego was kicking in and say, well, she didn't answer any of my texts, so I'm not going to see her again, or she could do the same to me. When the reality is probably more like that, we figured out, like when I'm in work, the work where I work is the Wi-Fi is really bad. Like you cannot even check any website, it blocks you, and that's done on purpose to control so that the clients can't have access to certain things, because I work with people recovering from addiction, so there's a lot of blocks on the Wi-Fi. And we reckon that that's why the messages didn't actually click in. But for whatever reason, we just, obviously the universe, she needed to do all her busy stuff. I was also very busy juggling Skypes and clients and then work as well. So there was a lot going on. So at the weekend, yesterday, I just cried and I cried and I cried. And it's like when I actually found the time to stop and be present and just allow myself, like I don't have to see any clients today. I don't have to be a healer today. I don't have to give to anybody else today except myself. It's like I could open up, I could open up my heart to myself and just let myself fully go there. And I did. And it was great because I felt this big relief, this big release of tears. And I was able to just cry and feel my feelings and own my feelings and just allow myself the space to be whatever I needed to be in that moment. And then I felt a lightness. I felt okay, I've let that go. I've released those heavy, dense vibrations. So there's space back in my energy field. I'm just getting a bit warm. So I, Monday morning back into work and just settling down into that open space again that's actually available in my body, in my consciousness, in my vibration. And that's when she texts me and, was like, hey, where have you been? It's been a long time. I haven't seen you. What's going on? And I was like, oh my God, I'd be texting you. And it's amazing when we let go, when we stop trying to be Superwoman, Superman, and we stop trying to hold up the world. That's when things get better. And that's when these problems resolve themselves, I had just made peace with the fact that, maybe she's just really, really, really busy. Like that's what I felt energetically, and I just had moved on at that stage. So it's not just that, it's like then the floodgates open. Then when one thing is pulled up in a vibration, right? This is how energy works. When it pulls up one area, it grows legs, so it pulls up other things. And it's like the branches of a tree. It's all connected. So when you increase your vibration in one area of your life, that can spill out into other areas. And you'll notice then that other issues that were getting you down or that were giving you a headache start to resolve themselves as well. So that's my little thought of this moment. Whatever you're struggling with, surrender, just let it go. Like don't fight the tide, it's a waste of energy. Don't struggle unnecessarily. It's just, don't struggle at all. Just go, right, I hand it over to God. I hand it over to source energy. You take care of this for me because it's weighing me down and I just need to get on with my life. And that's what I did. I just let myself drop into my feelings without any judgment, without any criticism. Just let it be. I was like, this is how I feel right now. I need to have a good cry. I'm overdue a really, really good cry. And also reaching out for support and letting the people who love me hold me, support me through that, and let them witness my tears. Let them see me wash out those lower vibrations. Because I do believe when we cry, we actually wash out chemically the really heavy, lower dense energies that are actually, our body is at a point of, we need to let this out because the body can't carry this anymore. And I think that's what crying is. I think it's like, right, we're at a crisis point. There's too much heavy vibrations. We need to actually, I believe your tears are actual physical, visceral releasing of those limited, sad, heavy thoughts that you're feeding yourself. And your body is literally crying it out. That's what I believe. And the body is incredibly intelligent. It knows you better than you know yourself, and it remembers everything. So allowing ourselves the space to let our bodies do what our bodies need to do, which for me was just to have a good cry and to allow myself to receive support, be in the divine feminine and receive that support, was vital. So, if you found this video helped you reflect or think about something differently, please give me a like. And I'd love to hear in the comments below, maybe you've had a recent experience like this where you thought you had to figure something out, but actually when you just let it go, it resolved itself. Because you let go, you let God. And then, our spirit guides can step in and say, let us take care of this for you. Let us take this heavy weight off your shoulders. Because your little ego mind doesn't have the power to solve this, but source mind does. Source super consciousness has the power to heal everything. Thank you. Thanks for listening.